It's just really, really amazing how we live day to day, and everything that we really experience in life, on what we're noticing on a collective level, really does represent an epitome of distortion. And this is basically what I've referred to as the distortion grid. Everything in regards to how we have understood modernized life to be has all functioned in regards to the point of distortion. This is basically the whole idea of how truth itself has often referred to its nature as fact. That everything that we do in regards to a logical brain society, in regards to how we eat, in regards to how we think, in regards to how long we sleep, in regards to what type of conversations we have, in regards for us to digest information, all equal out to this point of the distortion grid. So, the whole idea of food itself is a distortion. Simply because in many of our beginning times on planet Earth, human beings didn't really digest food. Everything was airborne. Everything was the breath. Everything was the sun. Everything was sound. That's basically how the human being was produced in regards to sustenance, through light, through sound, through breath. Now, we eventually will be going back to that very soon, in generations ahead. But this is all part of what we have created as one of the most huge addictions to ourselves, is food. You say, what are you talking about, Brad? You're saying that food itself is an addiction? Yes, it is. Because even when you have organics, even when you have wild food, even when you have particular forms of diets, it's not a miracle cure. It's not a miracle growth that if you eat a whole bunch of food, you're going to be feeling great, absolutely. But again, food itself can be abused. It does represent a particular type of addiction to ourselves. It's not about saying, oh, stop eating food altogether, because this is what we have been grown to understand, that, from the first day we're born, we're hooked on food. And that's the whole idea. So food itself is basically this particular form of distortion that a lot of us want to eat certain degrees, that we put so much thought into it. That's really where food is, in that sense, going awry. It's not that food is a bad thing. It's just that we have made it a particular addiction because so much of our daily lives have been about what should we eat? What should we have for dinner? Is it healthy? Is it gluten-free? Is it this? Is it that? Should I put this much into my body? Should I only eat this little bit? Etc., etc. We obsess over it. We obsess over the feeling that we need to eat this type of food, that it needs to be this type of organics, that it can't have any gluten in it, that it needs to be raw, etc., etc., etc. It's a trap. Not to quote Admiral Akbar, but it's a trap. And that's the whole idea. Again, there was nothing wrong with trying food, of course. If we were not meant to have food on this planet, we wouldn't have it. But the whole idea here is that food is meant just to be an element like the breath. You're not always keeping track of how many breaths you're taking in a day. You're not going 1, 2, 1, 2, and then just writing it all down. You're not being picky in regards to how many inhales and how many exhales you're taking per day. It's a natural function. The same with what food represents. When food comes back into a natural function, there isn't going to be that particular distortion relating to the idea that we're eating too much, or that we're eating too little, or that we need to eat specific groups, etc. It's all part of the distortion grid. that we need to concern ourselves? What about our diet? What about our weight? Am I going to, dive into eating meat, or am I going to dive into being a pure vegetarian, etc.? What do I do? We put so much unnecessary thought into this. And it's the same as if you were to put so much unnecessary thought into your breath, into how you get up in the morning. Oh, make sure left foot goes first, right foot goes next, etc., etc. You're not keeping track of that. So again, when you put less of a burden upon yourself pertaining to food, then you're not really going to be feeling that there are distortions within the body, because you have allowed the heart space, you have allowed all that you are to balance yourself accordingly to when you know you have to eat. You just naturally trust yourself of what you're going to choose based upon alignment. This is the most important thing to consider. It's supposed to be an arrow. Alignment. That's it. Let yourself carry yourself into alignment and let your day unfold in all the ways that your alignment brings you. If you feel that you wake up in the morning, you're like, and that becomes your very first sign, what is the procedure do you feel in regards to your alignment, how you can pick up your spirits? Perhaps that's going for a walk. Perhaps that's pulling out a journal and writing down your thoughts. What it comes down to is self-honesty. This is how we're able to transcend these distortion grids. When it comes to food, when it comes to entertainment, when it comes to education, when it comes to systems such as transportation, systems when it comes to spiritual. What's in my horoscope today? I'm going to go ahead and pick up my paper and I'll find out what's in my horoscope. Oh, I could be dreading a horrible day today, try to pick myself up, etc., etc. Oh, okay, thank you. What did the horoscope just do? The horoscope just did this. That's what the horoscope did. It basically created a subliminal program of how you feel your day is going to be enacted. Now, again, astrology does hold certain forms of significances when you're looking at archetypes, and it can hold certain degrees of momentum. But the thing is, astrology has gotten this particular rep of feeling that so many people have devoted so much of their power. It's like an outside guru to people, and feeling that, well, this must be the momentum because this person's an astrologist and they're studying the stars, and so this must be it. And so I indoctrinate myself into that program. One thing that you may want to check instead of going through these particular spiritual routines where it feels like there's an outside guru is for you to check inside yourself. How do I feel? Let me look inside my heart. Let me do some kinesiology this morning. Let me check in with myself. And again, this is all part of alignment to work past the distortion grid, checking in. It's not about what kind of day am I going to experience today. What's coming up next week? What's coming up next month? What's coming up next year? Well, maybe I can just check my astrology for that. Maybe I'll check something out in the Tao Ching, or maybe I'll check something out in other particular forms of metaphysical, spiritual practices. Whatever it may be. But being able to look into yourself, not feeling that you need to reach outside of yourself in regards to some generic quality that you may discover of telling you how your day is going to be, or how your love life is going to be. This guy is going to be coming along in January for you. Oh, this woman's going to be coming around in March for you. Those are possibilities, right? This is really all that astrology does, is it has a certain form of measurement. However, those measurements over time have been greatly distorted. When we're looking at modernized forms of conveniences of spirituality, you're looking at a huge distortion grid. This isn't downsizing astrology at all. Much in regards to its ancient practices, we're quite accurate. But because we've had so many shifts in energetic momentum, our grids have been realigned, the way that we view the stars, as a matter of fact, based upon new alignments, have actually changed in regards to what modern forms of astrology have been showing. They represent some type of rapport within our life because we have given it to them. We've given it to that feeling of astrology. We've given it to a feeling a lot of these different spiritual practices, as long as we keep looking outside of ourselves. They are the external guru. That's exactly what we're experiencing. And it's the same with entertainment, it's the same with education, it's the same with our systems in whatever form they are. They're all just representing a particular distortion grid. So how can we invert this distortion grid so that we live more under a grid of clarity, a grid of harmony? So we look to turn this into a harmony grid. Well, in one of the previous videos I said that it was all about responsibility, checking in, listening to the heart, connecting to feelings, empowering the self. That's not in a horoscope. That's not in my astrology broadcast for today. Interesting that I take responsibility for the actions and through the energies that I want to feel, that I'm checking in with me right now. Do I need to clear myself? Do I need to bring myself back into center? Do I need to walk counterclockwise in my front lawn, and that's going to help me anchor in a lot of energies that will help me create a prosperous day? That could certainly be something. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to check in with myself. I'll do kinesiology. I'll do a brief meditation. I'm going to connect with my feelings and feel exactly what I can do to really give myself the best day possible. That's the way to truly live. That is true life. Make each day as prosperous as it can be. That's it. That's what you do. You wake up and you feel that today has been even worse than yesterday or the week before. You're throwing that energy out to the universe today. Look what you just broadcasted as soon as you woke up this morning. Oh, this day is going to be crap. Oh, it's raining outside. I don't get paid for another week with my job. My car is falling apart. This day is going to suck. And look what you've just broadcasted out to the universe. The universe says, okay, well, Joe says that this day is going to suck. Look what he said about his car. Look what he said about his pay. Look about what he said about his job, etc. Well, he's all said that that's going to suck, so let's give him the most suckiest of sucking days. Suckingly possible. That's it. That's what you've created. It's a day of suck. You know? That's it. That's what you've broadcasted to the universe. Now, what could you change around? What is it about the distortion grid in that particular moment where you could change around? Just as if you were to have a remote control and go, pause. What would I change around? Well, I'm going to really have the most prosperous day today. That's my alignment. This is what true life is all about. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to stretch myself out and I'm going to go for a walk this morning. I don't care if it's raining out. I think rain is going to teach me a lesson. I'm just going to go out, I'm not going to worry about carrying an umbrella, and I'm just going to kind of endure the rain today. And I'm going to let it pour on my head. And I start to do that. And you know what? I did that and I don't feel bothered by it anymore. I actually feel very cleansed. I'm seeing something else about rain that many other people don't see. It's a cleansing. It's cleansing me today. It feels fantastic. My car seems to be in bad shape. I'm going to go take the bus today. Oh my goodness, this bus ride was amazing. I met all kinds of different people on the bus. I just had this really great conversation. I think that rain really helped clear a lot of energy within me. After me going for that walk and going into the rain, I met all these new people. And I'm seeing so many, similarities in a lot of us. I got a couple phone numbers. I met some great people on the bus. Let's hang out this weekend. Do something very, very fun. Fantastic. I gave myself a whole new aspect of what I could do at my job today. Rather than feeling that I'm just staying on the computer, I'm kind of interlacing myself with different assignments. I'm tasking myself in different assignments. I'm talking a lot more to my coworkers today, not feeling that I'm down the dumps. I'm preserving a human experience. You see how everything just changes around? Because again, we accept the fact that something really, really sucks, and as long as we say that, the universe is going to throw that vibe right back at us. When we wake up in the morning and we feel that prosperity, everything starts to transform. You become self-empowered. It's not about looking at your horoscope today. It's about you checking in with your inner horoscope and saying, I'm going to make the best day possible. I don't care if I'm an Aries and that it's supposed to be, you're going to face a lot of challenges today. No, I'm not. I'm going to have the best day of my life today, and it is going to be amazing. And that is what you put out to the universe. Guess what comes to pass? Your intention of having the best day possible, because that is the dominant feeling within your mind. That's what you've broadcasted out to the universe. The universe is giving you clear signs, clear synchronicities. That's what you've created. It wasn't about you being an Aries and saying that you're going to have challenges today. No. Okay? That is your external guru. Be very, very mindful with those external gurus. Such as the horoscopes, such as the astrology, such as the tarot cards, etc., etc. Again, they do have certain forms of beneficial states because they can help you check in, most definitely. But as long as you're putting a definite thought into saying that, well, this is what the tarot says to me today, this is what the Dao Ching says to me today, this is what the horoscope says to me today, I'm going to buy into it 100%. Your external guru has become the dominant factor in your life today. So again, this is how we're flipping the distortion grid into a harmonious grid. Okay? And of course, it even comes down to our sleep cycles, of how we go to sleep each night. Where we just want to crash on the couch, we're out of energy, and poof, we sleep about a good 12 hours, and we wake up the next morning still feeling exhausted. Why is that? Because we're not really meant to have that much sleep. We have this form of exhaustion because we give power away. That's why some people just go on a couch and they crash and they sleep for 12 hours. They come back home, they're just like this. They don't want to do anything, they don't want to touch anything, they don't want to look at anything, they don't want to just do anything. They want to just go right to their bed, go right to their couch and crash. Because you're exhausted. Your whole body does not have enough of the vitality to keep yourself in a genuine condition, to helping you move into that harmonious grid of self. You're exhausted. You're playing a game that's not of your vibration. You're constantly fueling the distortion grid. The distortion grid has grabbed a hold of you. It's sucked the energy right out of you. It's placing all of these thought forms over you. Your head feels like 1,000 pounds, and all this energy is coming into you, and you crash. Now, what happens if you turn that again into the harmony grid? Just through the demonstration. of being able to listen to yourself, going for a walk, going on the bus, walking in the rain. You continue to do that, your sleep pattern reduces. You can literally sleep 3-4 hours and you'll be wide awake the next morning. You'll be ready to go, rather than these 8, 10, 12, 14-hour sleep cycles, because your body was exhausted. You start living in your own harmony grid, everything starts changing. Your sleep patterns reduce. Your diet becomes much more natural. You may feel that you're eating a lot less rather than being so nitpicky about what you need to put in your body. Doesn't matter. It's about your alignment. Your alignment is what's going to bring forward the reduction of giving your power away, the reduction of your sleep patterns, the reduction of your crankiness. And that's the only reason why we're cranky. We keep fueling what we don't want. We keep fueling everything and saying, oh my God, there's tragedy here. Look what they're doing with this oil pipeline. Look what the government's doing with passing these new bills. Look at what's happening with this. Look what's happening with that. You're fueling yourself with crap. And that's the whole idea. You know that government has no power over you at all. They never have. It's the same as if you're giving over to an external guru. Brad, why does this keep happening? Why do we still have all this focus on the government? Why does this keep taking place? Because again, other people are giving so much of their energy on a collective level over to an external guru. You want to be an assistance? Be the educator by being the example. Being the example of how you live your life. I never bother with the idea of what the government is telling me to do, or what the government says that I need to do, or concerning myself about these things. By having enough people walk away when the government is trying to do this, then what happens? The government no longer becomes a factor. The feeling of an external guru no longer becomes the factor because you're not feeding it anymore. You need to do that through yourself. You need to be the self-educator. You need to be the example giver. The example giver tells everybody else, this is what I'm doing. This is me passing out my light because I feel self-fulfillment. I've transformed it into a harmony grid instead of a distortion grid. I'm living a life of harmony. Come and join me. Feels great. And I'll show you, I'll educate you exactly how this happens, how this can go down. And then more and more people start to turn away from the government trying to do this, from religions trying to do this, from corporations trying to do this, and you walk away. And they are powerless. They can no longer vampire that energy. No longer have that energy being fueled into them to make it feel that, oh my God, the government's doing this. They're jazz handsing right now, and it feels awful. You know, they're doing a big Broadway performance. And they will kiss your butt and do everything you can to try and say, come on, keep feeding us. Keep feeding us. Come on, come on, come on, come on. You're feeding the distortion grid. Come on, keep doing it. Come on, there's a good boy, there's a good girl. You keep feeding us. We keep having your power and we keep making you feel miserable. That's the distortion grid. Turn it into harmony. Walk away. Walk away, that's the thing. It's like a magician, where you already know that the magician is already doing these bogus acts. You see through all of them. You know, the girl's under the table. The bunny is already there under the hat. I see it already. You're not doing anything that's interesting me, but their charisma keeps you focused. Oh, he's gonna open that box. You know, that's the thing. Walk away. Walk away from the magic show. I've seen this before. It's the same old song and dance routine that's been happening for decades. I'm walking away now. And that's what plummets that form of institution that we feel is going to be in charge. More and more people will be standing up for how Earth needs to be harmonized within the grid, rather than feeling of how it needs to be distorted. It's great that you bring a bunch of this information of what's going on in the world in regards for educational purposes, but if that's all you focus on, you're not doing a service to anybody. You're just contaminating yourself, and you're causing more and more people to have anger, rather than moving that and saying, well, this is what's happening, but here's the solution. That's the whole idea. If you keep posting these things and feeling that, look at this, look how horrible this is, oh God, I want you to get mad and shake your fist, you're following the distortion grid. That's exactly what they want. Throw them something in there that they'll really be hideously mad about. Oh my God, we're gonna fuel off that fire that the people get. So when you look at these things, look at a solution. What's the solution? Okay, so there's a pipeline happening. What's the solution? Okay, so there's war happening. What's the solution? Okay, so there's taxes. What's the solution? Look into the idea of your own personal solution. Well, this is what I'm going to do. I can't speak for all you guys, but this is what I'm going to do. This is my solution. That sounds really good. Maybe I'm going to do this. And look what happens. It turns into a 100th monkey effect. You're not feeding the distortion grid. You're transforming it into harmony. So, this is just something to keep in mind. That we are all here to help each other. Absolutely. But again, if you feel that a person holds this revolutionary idea where they want to try and build up a messiah complex, be very, very mindful of that. It's about you deciding your course of action. When I'm saying my course of action here, it's not meant to go for all of you guys and saying that has to be your course of action. The only thing that I would recommend is, again, checking in. Check in. What in your own divine way, in your own unique form, can you live prosperously? Oh, but Brad, Fukushima. Oh, but Brad, oil pipeline. Oh, but Brad, this and this and that. Is that, again, what you want to put all of your energies into? Look into that issue and turn it into a solution. Alright, I'm going to look more into radioactive material and find out exactly how it can be remedied from my space. And this is how I'm going to report it. I'm going to do some surveying on this because this is something that's exciting me today. I'm going to look into solution. That's something I'm doing. I'm going to, talk to some other people about this pipeline, etc., etc. I'm going to be the solutionist. I'm moving into my own way because this is what I feel is that my blood's pumping today to do something for a solution. I feel really, really excited about that. Go for it. Do it. Make your life your own. Live prosperously. Check in with yourself. Find out how you can make each day as prosperous as possible. That's the idea. From turning it from a distortion grid into a grid of harmony. So thank you very much for watching. I'm Brad Johnson. Any questions on this video? info@consciousmatrix.com. Thank you again. Take care. Namaste. And may it be well with you. Goodbye.